Right.
But like you said, it's really cool because it's not that the inspector knows, oh, that's Luis or that's so-and-so. That
they know
everybody,
ES Solar
as a whole.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Moises here, back again with another episode of The Huddle. On today's episode, the topic is panels to power. You know, if you ever wonder what happens behind the scenes of an installation to either get a battery backup or panels to your home, this is what this episode is all about. And today we have one of our good friends. We actually work a lot with him. We do a lot of filming with him as well. And his name is Luis. He's a crew leader here at ES Solar. So I'm gonna give him a little bit of time so he can go ahead and introduce himself.
What's up, everybody? I'm Luis. I've been with the company for about 5 years and started out panels, putting up panels, running in the attic, big boy in the attic, believe it or not. And now, like Moises said, I'm crew manager, project manager for install, whether we do solar panels or batteries, we're all about that.
Perfect. So obviously, a lot of times, you wonder, how do you prepare for an installation, right? So, if I'm trying to go and get solar, what should I be ready for? What are some of the steps that I should be ready for? Let's say I'm getting panels and I'm getting a battery for my home. What would be some of the things that I should expect and be prepared for you guys to come in and be ready to just go ahead and start an installation?
Early mornings, we start, my crew and I meet at the shop, 6:30 to be able to put everything in our trailer, whether it's batteries or however many panels, or now we're such a big company and we're doing so good that luckily I just have to do the battery. So I only load the battery, I look for the essentials in my trailer, but for a customer, expect a lot of noise, expect a lot of dust, expect us to be laughing, joking around. I mean, we like to have fun so that we can make the job go by fast, but especially give us a lot of room, especially in the garages. I know that it gets hard to do that with us living there. I mean, my garage has like no space. So I think that's something that would be the biggest thing for you as a customer to expect is early mornings, lots of noise, dirt, trash. We like to clean up after ourselves, so don't expect to clean up after us. But that's about it.
So, for a battery, usually, where do you guys install most of the batteries? And I imagine you guys probably do need some space, right, to be able to work around it. So what are you looking for? What are some of those expectations?
So luckily, our project coordinators, the girls in the office, they'll send you guys an email, and they'll say 10 feet. And the reason they say 10 feet is because we're not exactly sure how your studs are and where we need to place things. So there's always workarounds or pipes and stuff like that that we run into mid install. But they're usually in the garage. We like to put them in the garage. We like to put them on outside walls. For example, this house is perfect, right? It's right behind the meter. So it's a very simple install. It's less intrusive for the customer. And we'd like to have at least 10 feet of working space in your garage.
Okay. What are some of the most difficult installations with batteries? And I'm just trying to find those, right? Because a lot of people think, oh, I have a detached garage, they're not going to be able to do it, or certain things like that. Like, what do you see happening?
So those are difficult, but it's only difficult because we have to pull wire.
Okay.
We pull wire no matter what. Like today we're pulling wire just through the wall. If it were on the other side of the house, we'd be pulling it through the attic. If there's no attic, that's when it gets tricky.
Okay.
Right? We have to run pipe around or over on top of the roof, or in the basement if we can, through places like HVAC. They usually leave some space where we can run through stuff like that. But a detached garage, we're lucky enough that we get a team out here before we show up, or most of the time, so that they can dig a trench, and we're able to put boxes and run our wire from there.
So what is trenching? You said trench. So explain to me. Like I said, let's just say I have a detached garage. Mm-hmm. What is trenching?
So we'll have a company, depending on how the trench is going to go, they'll dig a hole in your grass, or a little space where they can put a piece of pipe in there. So that way they can run this pipe from your detached garage to wherever the main is, or the side of the house. Okay. So we can get wire to and from without it just being on the ground. Put everything back, and with grass it's kind of hard, but we try to make it so that it looks like we were never there.
Okay, perfect. So you get the plans, I imagine, all the
Yeah.
permitting, all of these, inspections and things like that get done prior coming to you.
Correct.
So what is that process like for you? What do you get? How do you know what exactly you have to do and things like that when you come to a home?
So I was really bad at this, and thankfully to our VP of construction, he kicked me out of being a manager once. And I told myself I'll never let this happen. I was
Okay.
very upset, and I've told him this. I was very upset about it because that's the means of food for my family, but
Yeah.
it was the best lesson ever because I was never prepared. I felt like I would show up to the job site and I'd get hit with curveballs all the time. And one of the things he taught me is you need to be better prepared. So what I do now is I try to look at my jobs a week in advance if I can, like the Sunday before, and I prepare for the whole week. I look at the jobs, I look at what type of wire I'm going to need, how much wire I'm going to need, most importantly, where the job is.
Right.
Because we've been doing this for so long. ES Solar is such a good company that all the inspectors know us very well. In fact, I had an inspector in Holiday just last week show up, and he showed up early. I had it scheduled for PM. He was supposed to be there around 2 o'clock, and he showed up at 10. And he said, "Hey, just text me when you're done. I'm not worried about your guys' installation. I know who ES Solar is, and I trust your guys' work," which was awesome because then I wasn't trying to rush to get something done.
Yeah.
But that's why I say look at the plans. So I look before, I see where the battery's going to be, where the meter is. That's when I find out if there's a detached garage. That's when we find out how difficult this job is going to be.
That says a lot. Like you're talking about inspectors, right? And inspectors have nothing to do with ES Solar, right? It's a city inspector.
Correct.
Or a government. It works with the state, with the city. And for you to say that they trust our work, it means a lot. Knowing that they know that we do a good job, right? I mean, to be able to install a battery or a panel, an inspector has to say, it's okay, they did a great job. Otherwise, what happens if they say no? I mean, I don't know if that's been done, but what happens if they say it's not?
I'm sure we fail inspections quite often, and it's for many reasons, right? We did a change of plans and we didn't submit to the city or whatever. But when we fail, it sucks because we're here one day, we leave, and like I said, I was in Harriman last week, and now I'm here in Syracuse. So it's a big drive. And it sucks because I have to go back or I have to spend time to go do that. And that's more expenses for the company. We don't want that.
Right.
But like you said, it's really cool because it's not that the inspector knows, oh, that's Luis or that's so-and-so. That
they know
everybody,
ES Solar
as a whole. They are a great company. Whatever they're doing, we trust. And if they trust it, I think a homeowner should be more than happy to trust.
And that is so crazy, because it is true. I think as an employee of ES Solar, sometimes, we represent a company, right? And then when these inspectors come and they look at ES Solar overall, they probably have seen all the different ones. And now, one of the beautiful thing about this, you said, is like, okay, if we messed up, what happens, right? You mentioned, oh, I did a job in Harriman, so now I have to drive over there. It's an expense for the company. That's the beautiful thing about working with a company that is reliable, right? That is gonna back up if something goes wrong, right? That's a cost that we will have to take and not the customers. And that's why sometimes, I said this to people, if you're gonna look to buy solar panels or a battery, trying to get it with a company that is gonna back you up if something does go wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Because otherwise, like you said, most of the time it's a one-day installation when it's done. But a lot of times you have an installer that got hired as a third party. In this case, you work directly with ES Solar.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about being a third party, right? So that's a beautiful thing about it. Sometimes that's where it gets. So you were saying it takes about one day to do the job, usually.
One day. And we, as installers, we try our best to do same day install, same day inspection. And the reason, sometimes it's really hard depending on the job that we're in, or like we said, right, we're so big now that instead of me managing both the solar panel crew and the battery crew, our VP of construction has optimized our time so that we're more efficient, to where the panel people, they do their own thing, they show up and they get it done, and they're doing multiple jobs a day. Whereas most of us battery crews and electricians, we're just doing the battery. And it's really cool because we can get ahead, or the solar guys can get ahead, and I can just show up and the panels are done.
Right.
And that's the cool thing about it, right? if I can schedule the inspection the same day as I'm doing the install and I finish before the inspector shows up, and if for any reason we forgot to put a sticker, or we forgot to, I don't know, do a strap, or when we do the smoke detector and heat detector pair, for whatever reason they don't go off inside of the house when they should, the inspector's there and we can fix it right there and there.
Yeah.
And then the customer's happy because then they see, oh, these guys are here, they're getting it done. I know that if the installers leave, they won't have to come back. And that's the plan.
Right. So obviously it sounds like you started doing it, panels installation, and then you went into a battery.
Yeah.
Are you certified now? Like what?
Yeah.
What is that?
So when I started with the company, I started, I got hired on to be an electrician, and believe it or not, I had no experience. I mean, Brad can tell you, had a lot of time with him and it was a lot of fun. But he would say, hey, Luis, can you go get me, I don't know, for example, a preacher color or a plastic bushing or bonding bushing. I had no idea what any of this stuff was, right? I knew what wire strippers were because that's kind of in the sentence.
Yeah.
But I remember being so scared because he would test me and he'd give me things to do like, hey, I need you to learn what this is. And so what I started doing is, I loved it. When we were in the back of the house, I wanted houses that were the hardest because it'd give me time to walk from wherever we were working, Google search whatever he said, find a picture, put it on my notes, and then I knew I'd go home and I said, okay, next time Brad says, I don't know, I need
Plastic
number,
bushing,
yeah, whatever, I could look through my list and I know where to find it in the van.
Oh, okay.
And that's what I started. But luckily, ES Solar is all about, I think it says on our trailer, best quality and installation. And I think in order to be able to back that up, we need to have the best quality employees.
Right.
And ES Solar has invested a lot of money in that. In order to be in the position that I'm in order for any of my guys to be with me, they all have to be in school. Right. We all have to be going to electrical school, or we all have to be licensed, and they pay for all of it.
Oh, nice.
ES Solar has put me through school. We have our licensing. We're real. We're legit, right? We're not out here just hiding. If an inspector were to show up or somebody came to check our licenses, every single one in my crew has the ability to prove to them, this is who we are, we're licensed, we're allowed to be doing what we're doing.
Beautiful. Man, I mean, obviously there's probably a lot more behind the scenes of what takes to installation, right? I mean, there's probably a lot of terminology, wiring, cables, all bushings, all these different things. But that's the beautiful thing about it, is that you're licensed now, you're certified, and ES Solar put you through that process, hire you to do something. Now you're one of those, right? And you went from installing panels to now batteries, which probably means you probably cannot even install panels too as well.
Yeah,
right?
We were just in Houston doing that.
Here we go, Houston, huh?
Yeah.
Nice. How was that?
It was hot. We loved it. But there again, right? It's we're somewhere where there's no help. Right? There's help from the office, but they're here.
Right.
And we did great. We were installing 40 plus panels, 3 batteries per home, and we made it happen. We did everything. We were the second crew there. There was a crew before us there, and I'm sure there's going to be more crews going because it doesn't matter where we are. Right. We'll make it work.
Perfect. So just a couple of tips just to finish this. I think you have given us a lot of insights about installation. Some of the expectations, obviously learning a little bit about you as well, and not just you, but what ES Solar stands for, how it takes care of the employees, the certifications, installation. So give me a few tips that you would like to give a customer, to be ready for installation. I know you already talked about what are some of the expectations like loud noise, dusty, and give a little bit space, like 10 feet. But give some of the tips, 2-3 tips you would like to give to a customer, just be ready for your installation.
I think be flexible.
Okay. Be flexible because
our sales guys are people that come and do pictures before us. They're so good at what they do, right? And they can they paint the picture of what it's going to be. But when it comes to where we install, how we install, and what is it that we do, as installers, we base it all off of the NEC, which is the code book. And we have to make sure that we are compliant with what we're doing. And for example, just this home, customer, I show up 7:30 and I ask them where they talked about putting things, right? So that way I am aware of where they kind of have an idea of where it's gonna go. And he's like, yeah, we're gonna put it as high as we can. These batteries are 300 plus pounds. I can't put it very high. So we have to tell them, look, I can't do it here, or I have to do it here. We're gonna have to cut this, we're gonna have to cut that. And so I think if they're flexible and understanding that maybe it's not going to be like the perfect scenario of
Right.
what was painted, there's going to be some sort of movement or some sort of things that are somewhat different. That'd be the best.
Right. So putting out, it makes it harder, right? In case something goes wrong or we need to replace it or something takes place, right? So, perfect. Well, just in case you were curious a little bit, what's behind the installation crews, people, what takes place, there's more to it than just an installation crew coming to your house and just get the things done. They have to learn what they're doing. They have to be certified to be able to do what they're doing. So I appreciate you guys listening today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to message us or make a comment and let us know. Luis, we appreciate you giving us a few minutes to go ahead and chat with you, and hopefully we'll come back again.
Yeah, anytime. You guys are welcome anytime.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.